Welcome to the second episode of the Walk Podcast, Buckeye Revival. Today we're here with Ohio State running back James Peoples. Welcome to the show, James.
Hi, thank y'all for having me.
James, in week one against Akron, you got put into the game near the goal line. When you got that carry and you saw the end zone right in front of you, what did that opportunity mean to you?
The opportunity, it was, you run out there. It was my first ever carry, so that makes it all the more special. But, just the intensity, being able to just go in and get that first feeling in the shoe and to run out there with my teammates and my brothers and to be able to score, it was huge for me. And, it's definitely something I'm never going to forget.
Yeah, so a lot of guys, they have to wait a while to get their first touchdown at Ohio State. You've gotten two already to start the season, back-to-back weeks. How do you feel that those touchdowns really build your confidence like early in the season?
Right. Well, scoring one was huge for me already as a freshman, especially with the guys in the room. But two and one in each game is just, it definitely has boosted my confidence. And more to proof that I know I can play at this level and compete with these guys. So it's definitely boosted my confidence a lot.
Of all the teams in the country, Ohio State appears to have great buy-in from the players, bought into the coaches, and a unit as a whole. Can you speak to what that unity means for a freshman like you coming into these early season games and having great opportunity?
Right. That unity is very critical because when you're coming in here, you're looking to be part of something that's really huge. And in the facility at the Woody, everyone's bought into the same goal. We have goals, we have aspirations to the team, to the staff, to the EQ guys, to the coaches. Everyone's on the same path, to be able to, the goal is to win it all. We say natty or bust, but that's really what it is. And every day everyone comes in and works very hard. As far as me, no matter freshman, sophomore, junior, you just gonna go right in, you're gonna buy in. That's where the pack's leading, that's where the pack's headed. So we're all on that same goal.
And a lot of people speak to Ohio State having the best running back room in the country. You're obviously behind Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. How's their influence been on you being in that running back room?
Yes, having those guys has been huge. Not just on the field, but off the field. They've been mentors to me. I've been learning things. They've been teaching me things, not just about the game, but just as being a man, or just being a young man in college. But even to Trey. I actually sit next to Trey. Yeah, he's my locker room buddy. But just talks and just studying things with them. It's been great to be able to have that experience that I get to learn from.
Trey recently mentioned in an interview that you remind him of himself. What does that compliment mean to you coming from a senior running back?
That's huge, especially that we got some similarities in that manner. And, he's great, just as a mentor, as a person, and that means a lot. That's coming from him, so.
Was Trey at all an influence for you to come to Ohio State? Did you know him at all before you committed?
Yes. My first time talking to Trey was my sophomore year, going into my junior year. I actually came up here for a camp. I was a little under the radar at the moment, coming up from Texas, but he was out there watching us work. And this was when Coach Alfred was still there. We were doing some drills, some running backs, and he saw something in me. He saw I had some. So at the end of the camp, he came up to me. He shook my hand and kind of was like, "Hey man, you got some. Keep working, keep striving for greatness, and don't know where it's going to end up or lead you towards." And I didn't know that, off of that one conversation, that I would be in the same room with him, coming in my freshman year. And it's just been awful to see it all come tenfold and, meet here.
Trey and Quinshon have very different experiences in college. Of course, Quinshon coming from Ole Miss as a all-SEC running back, and Travion having a huge freshman year and then battling some injuries, and it's great to see him healthy again.
Yeah.
What are some things that you've picked up from each of them, that you've learned from them so far, that's helped you with your game?
Right. Some things I've learned is definitely how to recover your body. College is very strenuous on your body, so recovery, but also just pregame routines, practice routines. I say really a routine. When you come in college, you need a routine, and having that routine also just helps you feel better prepared for whatever's thrown your way, with practice, with meetings, anything, just having a routine, being prepared ahead of time has been two things I really learned from those guys.
So you talk about routine. What are some of the routines that you found to be really beneficial to you? Let's say maybe a pregame routine,
Okay.
or even just in your day-to-day life. I'd like to hear a little bit on both of those things because routines are something you're going to want to stick to throughout your college experience.
Absolutely. For pregame routines, I mean, for my own routines, really, I just like to find a space to myself, and I like to just be able to, talk to myself or talk to the Lord. Really, a lot of guys listen to music before the games, but I'm a little different. I can't listen to music. I kind of just need to be in my own headspace, be present in the time. That's what I found really works for me. But in my day-to-day life routines, I mean, I wake up every day, you make your bed in the morning, so I start with that, make your bed in the morning, do your daily routines, getting yourself ready. But I mean, other than that, I mean, just really stay in the course. When I come to the Woody, I make sure I do stuff before I go out on the field, just making sure your body's right, your mind's right, things like that.
You mentioned that you spend time in prayer before the games.
Mm-hmm.
When did faith become such a big part of your life?
Well, I was raised at a church. My mom, dad, we went to this church in San Antonio called, the Center of Worship. I go to one church now, but the Center of Worship, sorry, it came to me. But that was really where the start of everything came from. Not just with of going to church, but also a church family, a community, really coming as one for one goal, which is to worship the Lord. And my church family now, I mean, still strong. I talk to them today. But that's where everything really started for me, and where my walk with the Lord really began. But I carry that every day, even to now, with my walk with the Lord, and it's only getting stronger. So, I'm only 18, so I say I'm like 18 years in now with my walk with the Christ. But I'm just growing and really just staying steady with Him.
So growing up in the church and in Texas, it's in the Bible Belt. How did it feel moving north, leaving that and going into like a bigger city like Columbus?
I mean, the move is not easy. It was definitely difficult. One of the biggest things actually was like finding a church to go to when I was up here, and it took a while for me to actually find one. But me and my mom's up here with me. But actually it was Trey and G that came to me one day. I was talking to them when we were in the hot tubs, and they were just like, "Hey, like, have you found a church yet?" I was like, "No, I haven't found a church. I've just been watching my church online back home." And then that's when they introduced me to one church. They're like, "You should come sometime, would love to see you there." And at first I was a little uncomfortable. So it started off with me watching online services a little bit, and then me talking with my mom and her watching it, and she was like, "This looks like something like we should definitely try out." So we went one time, and we've been going ever since. So it's been great.
At one church, what drew you to one church? And as you were watching online, what made it feel like that could be your church home?
Right. I didn't want to just go because I had, that there were people that went to one church. You want to go because like you receive the word that is being spoken from the pastor or even the community. Like, it's a really healthy environment. And I could see that through the online services, what the pastor was talking about, and it really resonating with me. So my mom could definitely see that too. And we made the decision to go. And from the first service, we've just been following them ever since. And, I love one church. We go every weekend. And sometimes I go with my teammates. I remember one weekend, a carpool, like 4 of us in my class, and we all just went to church. We went to 2 services. That's actually that was the service where G spoke. So we went to, I believe we went to the 10 and the 12. That's which ones we went to.
So there was the one that G spoke at, and there were a lot of players baptized at that service. What was it like seeing your teammates get baptized?
Right. I mean, it was huge. I've never seen anything like that. I've been baptized myself before, but to have that many people baptized and getting into walking into a new life it was huge. It was an amazing thing to witness.
The name of this show is Buckeye Revival, and I think it's very fitting for what's going on in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, just the power in seeing God change lives through so many of your teammates. What has it been like to be on a college football team and see faith be play such a big role on the football team?
Excuse me. I'd say to see that is even more of proof that I'm in the right place. You know, when you see that, I mean, you can't do it. If you want, like, if you're in that environment, if you see that happening, like, how could you not want to be a part of that? I mean, it's life changing, and to see these guys' lives changing and for the better. I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's so important. It's so critical, and like everyone witnessing it and watching it. I mean, if you're in Columbus, I mean, you're at such a pivotal moment, like in time. Like stuff like that just doesn't happen. Like this is like generational stuff happening. God's moving in this city, this area, and we don't know why God chose us. We don't know why God chose, Columbus, but there's definitely a reason. There's definitely a purpose that why he chose, and I think we're walking that out. We're just gonna be living that out day to day, but it's all gonna make sense. It's all part of his plan, and I'm just so grateful that I'm able to be a part of it, and in such a time as this. Really.
Yeah, so with God really like putting his hand on this Ohio State football team, people are starting to say this is like God's team for college football. How do you make sure that you don't take on the expectations too high from that and feel like the results are connected to God leading this team to winning the national championship?
Natty or bust, you hear a lot of things about that. I mean, we're a great football team. But aside from that, with God's hand being on this team, you got to know that everything that's going to occur to us or that's going to happen to us is according to his plan. So I say really just giving it unto him is really the thing that keeps your mind off of that. We're going to go out there, we're going to play hard, we're going to do what we need to do, control all the things that we can control, but at the end of the day, like, it's all in God's hands. I mean, nothing's going to happen to us that's not according to his plan, and he's going to bring everything towards our way, whether that be trials and tribulations or successes and blessings. It's all going to be according to his plan. So even in my own life, like, that's how I keep myself level-headed and minded, like, whatever's thrown my way is part of God's plan.
You mentioned what a special place Ohio State is and how thankful you are to be here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of high school, you had offers from Alabama, USC, probably could have picked just about anywhere in the country. When did you know that Ohio State was the right fit for you?
I say when I came on my second visit here, I really knew Ohio State was the place, but it wasn't so much as a place. It always was a great feel here, but I was really waiting on God to move in my heart, and it was such a special moment there as well because I had my family with me. I had my mom, my dad, my grandfather, my uncle with me, and everyone felt that same energy. Like, this is the place to be. I mean, they made it so hard to not say yes. With just how they recruited me, but also the feeling in that facility. They asked me once, what do you need? Like, what do you need? I said, I just need it to be real. I just need to know how y'all actually operate, how y'all move around here. And, that authenticity was really huge. And talking to Trey, things like that, I really it all brought me to make the decision to come here.
Yeah, so James, like being a top running back in the country, a lot of football players can find their identity in football. Mm-hmm. How do you look outside of that to not just identify yourself as, I'm just a football player?
That's a good question. I feel like it's easy to be painted as just a football player, but I made it a point way when I was younger, like, I don't want to just be known as a football player. There's so much more to a person than just a football player. And when you hang your hat on football, like, something happens, what's going to happen to you? Like, if something happens to you, is that going to destroy you as a person? And I've had some battles, some challenges, of course, along the way. Just like, I know my senior year, I had a hamstring injury, and that sat me on the side, but it really let me sit back and, like, see it from a different lens. Like, I had all these goals. I had things I wanted to do my senior year. I was on set. I was wanting to be the top in the nation. But that's not what happened. And God sat me down. But it really, if He didn't do that, I don't know, like, where I'd be in the mentally space, like a mind space. That I don't know where I'd be physically right now. Everything happens for a reason. Like, God moves in so many different ways. And as a football player, yes, you could be a great football player, but there's so much more to the person. And every time I meet somebody, like, they might be like, oh, is that James? You did this, you did that. And I'm like, yes, but at the end of the day, I just want them to know that I'm a good person, and I want to leave great impressions on people. That's what people remember. You talk about how people remember you or a legacy. It's all about how you affect people,
You mentioned you had a lot of goals when you were in high school. For college, have you set goals for yourself for the next 3-4 years?
As of right now, I'm focusing on the present, where my feet are at right now. So my freshman year, yeah, I do have goals in the future, but really right now it's just I knocked out one of my goals again, one of my first touchdowns in college. But really just taking it day by day. Being where my feet are at in the present, and seeing where God leads me really.
So James, earlier you said that you don't really listen to music before the game. Do you listen to music or worship music outside of pregame?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I listen to worship music. I have multiple different playlists and stuff that I listen to, and I talk with guys. Trey he puts me onto some songs. G puts me onto some songs. So yeah, definitely.
What are some of your favorite Christian artists to listen to?
Christian artists. Who I am huge on Lecrae only because I'm more of a upbeat kind of guy. So I love Lecrae. Your Power by Trey. Oh my goodness. When Trey had that on his highlight, that was amazing to listen to. Maverick City is huge. I love Maverick City a lot. I listen to them a lot. And Tisha, could y'all help me out with her last name? It's Tasha Cobbs. My bad. Tasha Cobbs. That's who I listen to a lot.
So as a Christian, there's a lot of things in our environment that can influence us and either draw us near to the Lord, pull us away from him, and separate us. How important is it for you to control your environment and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with good influence?
I mean, that's critical. I mean, I'm pretty sure you heard, show me who you hang with, show me who you hang with, show me who you are. I mean, the group of people that you hang with is very critical because, I mean, it influences you in one or two ways, good way or a bad way. And that's definitely hard in college. I mean, hanging with guys and, doing things. But, I mean, I really just say it comes down to discipline, really how disciplined you are with your faith and your knowledge of your faith. I mean, when you have something that is so valuable, which is your faith, your belief, I mean, really who you keep around you is either going to strengthen that or it can damage that, it can weaken that. So I'd say that is a critical part, especially somebody who is trying to get closer to God. You got to really be smart about the people that you let in your life.
When you speak to influence, your new running backs coach this year is Coach Lachlan.
Yeah.
I know he's really tough on you guys, and he's also strong in his faith. What's it been like to learn from Coach Lach, and how tough has he been on you guys?
Oh, he's been real tough. Fall camp was no joke. He went in on us, but he did it all for the right reasons, to make us better players, better people. He always says, my goal is to make you a better man first, and then a better football player. But he's really focusing on the building you as a man aspect, and that's just being committed, being strong. Your mindset, not quitting. He's really instilled in us things that are going to, we're gonna carry with ourselves forever. And then of course it's his faith. He's a strong man of faith. And I could talk to him about anything. He's very open about his faith, and he encourages that everybody, give God a chance. And of course we got guys in the room that are saved, but just staying built up, strengthened up in that.
I want to bring things back a little bit to your upbringing, saying that you grew up in the church, just your parents bringing you to church. What has their influence been on your life, and being able to lean on them in their faith too?
Yeah, that's a great question. As far as my faith, my mom, she's my hero in that. She's huge. Me and her, we're so close knit, and just with church, with our faith, with prayer time. I remember we would meet at the altar at 6 p.m. every night, and we would just pray, be worshiping, and just getting closer to God. Me and my mom, we have a special connection definitely with that, as well as my dad as well. We all what's it called, very, very strong in our faith. But yeah, with me and my mom, I mean, just even now, going to church with her, I could talk to her about anything, and she sends me messages, throughout the day to make sure that I'm staying prayed up, I'm staying on the right path, just checking in on me, and I do the same with her. So, I mean, she's been great from when I was little to now, and she's here for definitely a reason. Me and my mom, when I say it, I prayed about coming here, that's real. My mom prayed as well, and she didn't know if she was going to make this move because she's up here now. She didn't know if she was going to make this move. She has a dream. She had a dream. Technically, God gave her the dream that technically summing it up, that we would be running this race together. So she's here for a reason. What that reason is, God's gonna walk it out. But in my walk, my mom, she's connected to me in that way, and we're gonna see where God takes us. So that's great.
Many athletes don't have the blessing of having such a strong support system. What does it mean to you for your mom to sacrifice so much, and like you said, run this race alongside of you?
Man, I can't thank her enough. It's huge. Having a support system is everything, especially for somebody like me, like a young man. When you have a strong support system, it really just helps you, it carries you along. Having her here with me has been huge. To have access to my mom whenever I need to see her, whenever I need to talk to her. She's at every one of my games. Like, it's great just being able to see her, and for her to also encourage me, when I do good or get in my butt when I'm doing bad or should be doing something. But, having a support system here, with you, supporting you, it's critical, and I'm grateful for her to be here, and especially my dad as well. He came up here to both of my games. My grandparents, my family up the road in Cleveland and Youngstown. Support systems and everything. I think that's a huge reason why I also came here.
Who are some of the other players on the team that really fueled a good support system for you as teammates?
As teammates, I named them earlier. Trey, G, Q's also great. Will. You can talk to any of those guys. All those guys. I say they're all a great support system. At Ohio State is a standard, not just athletically, but also as a person. They were going to recruit a good person. All those guys in that room are great people. All those guys in the room, no one's hating on each other. It's always such a great, lovely, friendly environment, and all those guys are great support systems. You need to talk to somebody you can do it at. If you need a brother to lean on whenever times are getting hard, they're gonna be there for you. So everyone in that room is available. Everyone in that room is great people.
You mentioned how special the room is. The freshman class by itself is extremely talented. And while there's a lot of talk about how full this roster is and how much talent there is on the roster, when you look at the incoming freshman class with you and Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin, among others, what's it like to come in with such a talented class and a bright future for the Buckeyes?
That's huge. You got guys you got playmakers like that. Like, it just further pushes you to know, like, we're gonna be good, And looking at those guys' development, you can see for yourself. Like JJ, he's a great player, but we got so many guys in our class that are so talented, so good. We're going. That's the standard here. You're gonna have great players, great teammates. But I just also want to touch on, like, how great of people they are. They're great people. They have great energy every day that they come in the facility, and it's just amazing, like, to be here with these guys at such a time as this. So it's a blessing to have those guys in there and playmakers like they are.
It can be easy to give the Lord praise during some of the highs. How has it been like for you to lean on the Lord through some of the lows in your life?
Right. I'd say actually it's kind of flipped. For me, at least, I'd say when I'm in the valley, I feel like there's nothing else I can do but really lean on the Lord, is look to Him, because when you're in the valley, it's easy, like, to be looking at the situation you're in and be like, man, like how am I going to get out of this? But I've learned and I've grown to know that when you're in the valley, like, the only option is to look up to the Lord. I say, though, when you're on the mountaintop, when you're high, when everything's going right, that's when things can get hard. That's when you really gotta look into yourself, look into your heart, and be like, all right, who got me here? Why am I here? Why are things like this happening? He's the orchestrator of life. He's the reason He writ it out that way. So giving Him glory, I feel like He's gonna do that tenfold when you do that, when you're on the mountaintop and not just on the valley. So that's what I believe.
Is there a valley that you can point to in your life where you've really had to lean on the Lord?
Absolutely. I say when I first got here, being a new freshman college student, I faced some challenges. Being away from home, I faced some challenges. I felt, a little displaced, a little on my own when I first got here. I was in the valley, but I talked to Trey daily when I first got here about just, like, where I was, and he was just there for me, being able to talk to me, because he was a freshman in my shoes at once. And he said, man, get in your Bible, just read the Word, get closer to Him. The more I did that, the more I started connecting to people, feeling like I was in the right place. Things started happening in my life. stuff that felt good or tasted good started tasting bad. You know, my life started going in the right direction. And I mean, that doesn't mean I got it all right now. You know, it's a constant. You know, I got to keep on turning my legs in the right direction. But that was a point in time where I was in the valley because, you know, everything was different. When things are different, you know, it gets hard. But just staying true to who you are and really just staying connected to God is what helped me.
Do you find peace when you dive into the Word and get into the Bible?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You find so much peace and also so much understanding too when you dive into the Bible. Yeah, so much.
Going back to the earlier days in Texas, you know, grew up playing football there. Now you're in Ohio. I'm curious, have you ever had to experience snow?
Snow. No. Actually, yes. One infamous winter in Texas, like 2016, it was one of the coldest winters we had. It actually snowed. That was the first and last time I seen snow in Texas. First and last.
Okay, so you haven't had to play football in the snow?
No.
Okay. Have you?
I'm going to have to probably this year though.
Yes. Have you thought about what it might be like to play in below freezing temperatures? And
Oh my goodness, I don't even want to think about it. On this past Saturday when we were playing Western Michigan, like I was sitting on the sidelines and it was, I don't know why, I got so cold. It was so chilly, and then after the game I was like, man, it was cold. It was like, you ain't seen nothing yet. Are you kidding me? Like I'm trying to stay warm and y'all talking about it ain't even that cold outside. Like what? That's gonna be an adjustment though. I don't know how I'm gonna fare in that, but we're gonna see. Just try to stay warm and do what I can, you know.
So one of the cold games you can probably expect is going to be the game in November.
Oh, yeah.
How are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to the team. I'm looking forward to we got to beat them. So I'm looking forward to that. But you know, as far as the weather aspect, we're gonna see how that goes. You know, hopefully by that time I get my body acclimates to it. So by the time we get to that game, I'm already like a little better.
I'm sure you guys saw that Texas really handed it to Michigan this past weekend. As the team up north progresses throughout their season, is there anything that can happen during the season that would change the emotions towards that game?
No. None can really change that emotion. I mean, a lot of things that we do is going to be to build up to the game. But I mean, with every game, I mean, it's the same intensity we're gonna bring it. But of course, with the game, it's gonna be a little bit more. But we're not gonna take them lightly at all, no matter what happens.
So over the last few years, obviously Ohio State struggled in that game. You're coming in as a freshman,
Mm-hmm.
and you obviously want to change that narrative. Are you ready to change that?
Am I ready to change that? Yeah, I'm ready to change that. Yeah, we're gonna go out there and do what we do. We're gonna play ball. We're gonna play hard though.
Before we jump ahead too far into the season, let's turn it back to where we're at currently. So this week you've got a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Being a freshman, first bye week in college football. Do you have anything planned for this weekend?
Oh, for this weekend coming up? Not really. It's a bye week, but it's really a what we say, improvement week. It's an improvement week. So we're early in the season. We're gonna be working this weekend. As far as this weekend, probably just resting, getting my body ready, you know, for this week of work, and then heading into playing Marshall next Saturday.
So when you're resting, what does James Peoples like to do? What are some of his hobbies?
When I'm resting, I love cooking, eating, cleaning. Huge on cleaning. What else I be doing? I love watching TV, you know, especially the games that have been on lately. But I love binge watching a lot of stuff, you know. Outer Banks 4 is coming out, so I'm gonna have to watch that. And then I be playing the game, recovery, you know, stuff like that, like just recovery. I got Normatec boots. I do cold therapy, stuff like that, you know. Just some stuff, making sure I stay on top of everything I can.
Do you play much of the college football game?
I have it. Actually, I don't though. I don't know if it's because of fall camp. I don't know, but being away from the game for like 2.5 weeks, I haven't touched it much at all. But really just eating, routine, getting my body right. If there's a game that I play most though, it'll probably be Black Ops 4 that's coming out. I've been playing the beta a little bit.
You're only 18. Did you even grow up playing college, like NCAA football? Or
Nope. I did not grow up playing NCAA, and it's kind of crazy because a lot of my teammates that are in my grade, they did play it, but I didn't play it. But there's this one football game I did play. I forgot what it was called. It was like when you would hit somebody, it would go into like an X-ray, and then like you would see it, and it would like be like, I don't know, like something would happen. That's a game I grew up playing, but I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember the name of that one, but that sounds good though.
Yeah.
So Marshall coming up in 2 weeks. They're 1-1. They've had a tough loss against a pretty good Virginia Tech team. What can we expect from Ohio State and from you in that third game?
Well, from Ohio State, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna treat them like they're the best opponent that we're gonna be facing, because they are. I mean, they're the best opponent we're gonna face that week because they are that opponent that week. So we're not gonna take them lightly. We're gonna practice hard. We're gonna play hard. And then for me, you can expect me that whenever my number's called, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna play my best football, and whatever happens at the end of the game happens. So we're gonna play hard.
Well, James, that's it for episode 2 of Buckeye Revival on the Walk podcast. We thank you so much for coming on, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.